So here we've got our Doctor Who cake, and we've taken it out of the fridge and we've rolled out some sheets of rectangles of icing, and we've put two sides on. So you can see here we've got two sides on, and what I'm going to do now is show you how to make those sides for the other two parts of the cake. To create this panelling effect that we've got here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our ruler. I've got our knife here. Now what I did here is I measured out the first panel and got it roughly how I wanted, and took a little bit of time planning it. If you get the first one marked out, you'll get an idea of where you need your lines. And as you can see here, we've got some vertical lines dividing the panel up, and some horizontal lines, and that's what we're going to do now. So I know that I need to come in very roughly about 2 centimetres in from the edge on either side. So I'm just going to measure that in now from either side. I'm not making this permanent at the moment. I just want to make sure I've got it roughly right before we go too far. And then through the middle, we've got we want to do roughly 3.5 across for each panel, each square, and then we'll do 3.5 in from the other side. 2, 3.5. And what that should give us is about 2.25-ish, which is what we've got here. So we've got our marks for our vertical line here. You can't see them too well, but we've got 2 centimetres, marked little line, 2 centimetres from each end. We've got our next vertical line 3.25 centimetres in, and we've done the same on the other side. That gives us a gap down the middle, which is this gap here, and our edges of the cake. This square, for this particular cake, because we've stacked up 4 tiers of sponge, we've got a piece of rectangle fondant that is 16 by 13.5 centimetres. But to be honest, it's going to depend how much your sponges rise. So you need to do some of this yourself when you're creating marking out for the panelling. Just try and get an even lines around. So all I'm going to do here is use our knife. I'm going to go just mark a fairly deep line. If you want to, you can mark the line at the top as well. But if you're looking from above, you can get roughly the angle you need, making sure you're trying to keep it nice and straight, using the other line as a reference. So now we've got our our vertical lines on there, and now we need our horizontal lines. So we're going to position our ruler roughly in the middle, and we've got here we've got 16 centimetres. I'm going to just move, so we've got 1/2 inch either side, so top and bottom, sorry, 1/2 centimetre either side. So I'm going to mark 1/2 centimetre in from the bottom, 1/2 centimetre in from the top, and then we'll do 3 centimetres down. So these panels aren't quite square just because of the height of our cake, but visually you don't see much difference there. They look square, even though one of these is 3.25 and and the vertical side is 3 centimetres. You don't really see too much of a difference there. 3 centimetres up this side, we'll have a 1 centimetre line there, and then another 3 centimetres up, another 1 centimetre line there, and again 3 centimetres up, leaving us with a 1 centimetre gap. So what we have, let me just show you on here because it's a bit easier to see. We've got 1/2 centimetre at the top. We've got a 3 centimetre panel here, 1 centimetre gap here, panel here, 3 centimetres here, 1 centimetre here, 3, 1, 3, and then a half. That's 1/2 centimetre, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3 and a half. Okay, now we're going to go across horizontally here, just marking this out. This gives us where we need to create our indentations, which we'll see in a moment how we do that. But also it gives us the look we're after on the cake, matching the picture of the Tardis that we've got on our computer behind here. Remember, if you do any little tiny mistakes with the fondant, you can always just run your finger over it just to correct your mistake. It's quite forgiving in that respect. So there we are. We can now turn our cake round, and we want to fix this in place. So all we're going to do here is very carefully just line up our panel with each edge. Make sure we've got enough cake on each side, like so. Just going to very carefully just bend that around a little bit and try and get our sides linked a little bit. But also don't forget what we're going to do here is, in fact you don't actually know yet obviously, but what we're going to do here is add some edging to this as well. So I'm just sealing the gaps a little bit, but we'll add our edging in at the end, which will hide the seams. Okay, so now what we need to do is create our indentations, and what we're going to use for that is this little boning tool. It's got two knobbly ends, one smaller than the other. We're going to use the large end here, it's just a rounded end. And what we're going to do is just come down at eye level and start in the corner and just carefully, all I'm doing is applying a little pressure, just doing little dots all the way along to begin with. As you get more confident, you can drag the ball over the fondant a little bit more, and that creates the start of our indentation. So we've got around the outside now, and then we just move to the middle, just carrying on with the indentations like so. So we've got the start of our indentation there, and now we just need to carry on going round the outside into the middle again. Don't worry about the roughness of it at the moment because we'll smooth that over in a minute, but we need to go fairly deep, especially on the top, because the top's going to have a little white panel added to it, so it's going to be, needs to be a little bit deeper than the other ones. And then all we do is we can smooth out with our finger. At the top one we don't need to worry too much about getting this perfect, but what I will do is make sure that it's deep enough. Like so. So because the fondant's quite thick, it means that we've got plenty of room to be able to indentate here. We don't have to worry about going through the cake, through to the cake. So I'm going to carry on indenting it, like so. And then once I've got that roughly how I want it, I'll just run my finger over it, to smooth it out. Just carefully smoothing it down, like so. And then we'll move on to the next one, and we'll reshape a little bit more at the end. So I'm just going to indent the edges first, like so. The marking out is the bit that takes the time. Once you've done the marking out, this indentation of the fondant isn't too difficult. So really it's all in the preparation. Get the prep right, get your marking out right, and this bit isn't too difficult. Like I said, we'll do these roughly first of all. So I've just done another one just roughly there. We'll come back in a moment and we'll tidy up. But as you do each one, the fondant moves a little bit. So I only want to get each one roughly marked out, and then we'll come around and tidy each one up at the end. So you can see here, I'm not actually, taking too much time over it. I'm just trying to get the indentation even all the way around. Just prodding and dragging the fondant. Trying to get it deep enough all the way around. And then we'll come round and smooth it over with our finger, like so. Just come in and make sure your corners are properly indented, so you get a nice square uniform look. And come over it again with your finger. Okay, so beginning to look good there. Do the next one. So what I'm trying now is I'm just smoothing these panels out a bit, and where they're not quite either indented enough or not quite square all the way around, I'm just tidying them up a little bit, removing some of the little lumps as we go around. I'll just make sure that got our panelling as we want it. So just going over it with my finger, indenting the corners a bit as we go around. Okay, looking pretty good there. And what Daniel's got here is some little squares that we've measured, so that they're the same size as this. And what we're going to do is, in a moment, we're going to drop those in, and then we can, because all the top part of the Tardis has white windows,